again, Lindsay's got I think she's got the biggest and hardest battle on her hands out of all three of us.
Yep.
To get through all those layers and the barriers to get to where she needs to, and you'll get there, Lindsay. You'll absolutely get there, because I know you will, and you're so determined to do it. And we're both here behind you to push you up and lift you up and keep giving you all the support that you need. So keep going at it.
I appreciate it. If it weren't for you two, I probably would have tried to do something else a while ago, because it's so frustrating.
But it's needed.
That's the obstacle. The thing I run into the most, I think, is people don't see me as somebody they can relate to, because I haven't been where you guys have been. But that's a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? That's a good. You don't want to go seek help. Yeah, you don't want to seek help from
different
somebody.
Perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah. A neutral perspective. It's like, I mean, I used to help people who are addicted to heroin. I've never been addicted to heroin. Like it's like I
tried it. It won't for you.
But or people like, say, people who are schizophrenic or bipolar. I've helped, like, I've worked with people. I've had clients who have struggled with those things. I don't, but you don't want to, like, go like the heroin example. You don't want two heroin addicts trying to help each other. They can support each other, but to try to help each other and treat one another, that's just that's a recipe for disaster. It becomes this enabling situation. And now I know that's an extreme example. I'm just saying I've helped people with a wide range of problems just because I haven't been there. I've been there with, like, depression and anxiety and stuff, like, throughout points of my life, for sure. So I get that on a personal level. Also, I've had a lot of family members who have struggled. I had a close family member who had a drug problem. So, like, I've been close with all of those problems, but that doesn't mean, like, I'm equipped to help because I haven't been there. It's the neutralness of that is what I feel is an advantage.
While you're talking about that, Lou, like, I think back to when I first started as a equipment superintendent. I didn't need someone to come and help me with how to fix something. I didn't need someone to come and tell me and help me with logistics of how to get things to site and how to keep things running. I needed someone to come and tell me, or help me at least understand, why that mechanic over there is an arsehole and why I can't yell at him. You know what I mean? That's the help that I needed. I needed help with understanding people. I needed help with, how do I get the best out of that person that's going to help me with my job and help with the project. That's what I needed. And that's what I think a lot of people, they just miss along the way.
Yeah. And on a mental health level, it's, some people might need help trying to figure out how to work with one another, or how to manage people and stuff like that. But from strictly on a mental health level, I can help people understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Why, have you considered even how much are you drinking at nighttime after work? How much sleep are you getting? Like, I can help people understand that also. You're feeling this way because of this. So, but then it's having the snowball effect on the rest of your life. You're going to work feeling like crap. So of course that person is going to annoy you. Of course your boss is going to hurt your feelings. Of course this simple task is going to seem hard, because everything seems hard because you're feeling so shitty. Like, that's what I do. I can help you understand why you feel the way you do, just with an overall, the mental health, the technical stuff of it. It's not rocket science to know about mental health, but with my background and with my education and my experience and all that, I'm just good at helping people understand why they feel the way they feel.
Yep.
And you're a caring person naturally anyway, Lindsay, so that helps as well. And that comes down to a lot of it, that understanding it and just being what's the word I'm trying to think of? I don't know, it'll come to me in a minute. I'll just burst out with it in a minute. But you've got the right personality to suit that as well. Empathetic is the word I was trying to think.
Empathy, yeah, for sure.
Empathy,
I like to think so, for sure. Chris tells me all the time, like, you got to stop looking at stuff from your therapist hat and more from your business hat, which is hard for me. I look at everything from my helping hat.
Being a business owner, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to, like, I got taught, there's something I got taught, Rob, and and everyone's laughed at me, but once I understood it, life was easy. There's 3 D's of being a boss: dominate, delegate, and disappear. When I first heard it, I'm like, oh, yeah, good one, no problem at all. But when you step back from it and you start understanding the mechanics of it, it kind of starts making sense. Dominate, you need people to understand that you are the person that is in charge, meaning that you're the person that takes all the responsibility when something goes wrong and all of that. Delegate, give your people the work, give them clear instructions, communicate extremely well so they understand what is expected of them and what you expect from them, what the project expects from them. Disappear, let them do their job. Don't micromanage, don't sit over them. Check in on them if you want to from time to time, if there is someone new or something like that. And then the way it got described to me, well, what happens if they don't delegate? What happens if they don't? Go back to the first D, be the boss again, you know? And it's just a simple structure to learn. But doing that will never teach you empathy. Doing that will never give you the tips and tricks that Lindsay knows to, you know, okay, when you get someone like that, like I call Lindsay the secret weapon when we go into meetings. Lindsay's brilliant at reading people. We can leave a meeting and Lindsay will say, that person is that type of personality, that one's that. And when you're in some big negotiations and stuff, it's brilliant. It is literally a secret weapon because you get that, okay.
Well, it's funny because they all get lost in, like when you go into those meetings, they all get lost in, I don't want to say the money, but their stake in everything, you know, like what's this going to cost me? What am I going to gain? They're all thinking about things from that, where I just sit back and watch, like, well, this guy's kind of a prick, I'd watch out for him. Or it's easy because I'm only looking at it from that. So it's been hard for me to have to switch, like, okay, I need to look at this from a business side. Like it's hard, it's kind of difficult for me to do both because I'm so used to only doing the other. But
it's finding that middle ground that you're not stepping away from Lindsay and the core values, but at the same time you are looking after Lindsay and everything that you stand for, and you need money.
Oh, I catch myself wanting to give stuff away, like how, like, I should just give this to these people, like, whatever. Maybe I said this to Chris yesterday, like, he's like, you got to direct them to you, and I'm like, I'm just giving this to them to help them, like, I'm not. And it's like, I genuinely look at things like that.
It's always that call to action. What do you want people to do? After seeing this video, what is it that you want people to go and do afterwards? What's their little bit of homework to do? What is it that you want them to do for you when you're giving them all this information? Rob, you hit on it. You can't ever sell yourself out. You started talking about right at the beginning of the video about, you know, doing the podcast and then this corporate entity and, you know, tick this box and do that and do that. You and Lindsay can never sell out your core values. You can't, because in the long run, that is what's going to win. You know, Lindsay, by going to see these, like Lindsay had to go to this organization in summer. She had to learn that lesson that they weren't there to actually help people. You know, as much as some of the people in there certainly did want to help people, the organization didn't. It was too busy, you know, trying to win awards or do this or do whatever the case may be. There was people there that definitely wanted to help. But Lindsay got to that point, and I know, because Lindsay just struggles, oh, but I want to help these people, you know, like I know that they want to do it. And I'm like, really, they fucking don't. I've been around people like this before. I know exactly what they're like. They don't care about you. It's what you can give them. They can take from you, and then they'll just chew you up and spit you out. That's all they care about at the end of the day, while they're not helping the people that need it the most. That's what I have difficulties with. Lindsay had a big struggle with that, going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. And it came down to, Lou, what is it that you want to achieve? What are your core values? Lou got to that and said, well, you know, are they helping you or are they hindering you? They're hindering.
He just kept telling me, they just haven't pissed you off enough yet. And then I was like,
they haven't.
That's how Chris looks at everything. And then one day it just, like, I was on the phone and I just, like, that quick, I was like, I'm just sick of this. Like, no.
And then you phoned me up. You should have heard what I'm like, there it is. That's what we've been waiting for.
I was
That's
just
what
like,
you
I'm
need.
done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, and that's it. It's been pretty much done since then. So.
And what came out from the end of that, Rob, and that's why it's really important, like when you say, okay, I'm not going to sell my values out for that. If Lindsay went along with that, her name and her reputation can be tarnished. Her name, her reputation, same as your name and your reputation, if you're playing by someone else's tune, that can be ruined. Absolutely ruined if you're associated with someone. Like if there was a big organization that came along to that particular event and then they said, like me, if I was there and my company went along, it'd be like, who do you help and how do you help them? Well, well, we've got this person and he's speaking and like, shut up. Who do you help? How do you help them? Like, then it'd be like, okay, anyone that's associated with this is just a waste of time. Anyone that phones up this office, and I'll be back telling everyone, anyone from these groups here, come to our group to try and help us with something, out the door. So that's where you got to keep your values. You've got to be like, you've got to go and see them and you've got to go and weed that out for yourself. But at the end of it, your values are what, by helping people, is what.
And Rob comes across that too on a different level. I know he's had people reach out to him wanting to be on the podcast, and he'll like kind of follow along with the stuff they post, and they like, it's just the guy ends up being a tool, and he's just like, yeah, I don't really, no thanks. We're full.
Yeah.
And there's a big organization over here on social media that's in the construction industry. I reached out to them this time last year when they first started it, and said, look, I've come up with this idea. I want to do this. This is the first episode. Can you put it on your platform? And to be fair to them, they messaged me back, but they said, no, this is something that we don't do. We can't put this out on our platform. So going, right, fine, fair enough. They actually approached me to work for them a couple of weeks ago, and I said no. Instantly I said no, and then I thought about it, because I thought, well, if I go working there, maybe I can bring in all these, like this, that, and the other. And I thought, no, because I don't believe in the message that they put out on their platform. There's things I don't agree with what they do, and a lot of it is clickbait that they do things for, and I'm not about that. Yes, I could go and get it out to definitely millions of people that follow them, the huge following they've got, but I said no to them, because it's not the right thing for me to do. I could just go and sell out and be that person, and look at me, I'm on this platform here doing all this, and they've got all these followers and or whatever you want to call it. But I'm moving. I would have been moving away from what I believe in, what the podcast stands for, and my mission that I'm on, and what I want to achieve with it. I'd rather play the long game and let it get there naturally and organically, because you get there. It's like what you were talking about before, Chris and Lindsay, that you keep coming up against these barriers, and if it was easy, you wouldn't try and innovate and try and get over these barriers. If you had sold the idea to the first person and gone, yeah, great, and all of a sudden you've got this big mental health company, which would be absolutely phenomenal, but you wouldn't appreciate what you've got around you, because you've not appreciated the journey to get to where you are and the lessons you've learned to get where you are. Because if you go straight to the top straight away, all this stuff that you missed out in the middle, that you don't learn, and you can't implement things along the way. And it goes back to what me and Chris were saying, of that, because we've done all the jobs along the way to get to where we are now, we understand what John's going through down here and Phil's going through up here and Sandra over it, and all the different levels that go to it. We understand it because we've been there, done that, and now we want to try and help the people along the way.
You look at anything that's successful in life is a long burn. It's a long burn, and people that have stayed to their core values. That's what you and Lindsay are going to do. That is what's going, but that's what people need. The people that need it the most need your pure message without all the corruption of corporate dollars and all these kinds of things. Yeah, would it help? Absolutely. But if a corporate comes to you and says, here's some money, go and do what you need to do and just keep the message going, no problem at all. But if someone comes to you and says, here's the message that we want you to tell people.
Yeah.
Trip it over $2 to pick up 5 cents, because the long game is going to be way, way, way better off. Way better off. Both financially, rewardingly, and also, you know, for
on a
your
personal
own
level.
Personal level as well, you know.
Yeah.
The things that I always remember was never a financial gain out of things. It was what I was able to achieve. That's always what sticks in my mind. It's all we've got at the end of the day. Yeah, the financial rewards were great along the way, you know, but they don't last. You know, you keep spending money and burning money doing things, and I've got a great idea for a new device, and let's go and put $300,000-$400,000 into it, and better pay off. Hope it does.
Yeah, I mean, a good way of thinking about it is that, say if you died today, Chris, and everybody turned around and was talking about you in years to come, they'd never go, do you remember that really nice car Chris used to drive?
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Do you remember all the great work he did for all these people along his way, and all the relationships that he grew, and all the friendships he had? People will remember you for that. They don't remember you for the materialistic
100%.
things.
100%. And that's what they always say, you know, if you want to work out who you want to be, write your own obituary.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it.
You want to work out who you want to be in life, write your obituary. What do you want people talking about you when you're dead and gone? That's really important, really important. I've done that before, and it certainly opens your eyes. It certainly opens your eyes, not only to, oh shit, I've been a bit of an arsehole here, but what do I want out of life? Why am I sitting here spinning my wheels, you know? And that, again, with Lindsay, like I know that she hates when I do it, especially often, but I get mad with her to try and drive her to do something. Like, get mad with that person, use that anger, get that anger into a video, because that's what, when people are passionate, that's what people connect with. That's what people connect with. They can see.
And then you start talking the language of the people that you're trying to get to as well.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I know that's hard for Lou, because Lou's not that, she's not a confrontational kind of person. But as she sees more and more taking off the empathy hat and putting the business hat on, she understands that.
Some of my problem comes from too is my training. You know, we're not really trained to be super open and super you know, we're trained to be super technical and super I guess professional, you know, like you're not trained to be open and what's the right word?
Again, but
like
that's why you've got
with people.
That's why you've got me and Chris around you, that you can go into businesses and point out the obvious to them, because they're too busy and focused looking at their training and what they know. And that's why it's good to have the likes of me and Chris around you, that we can say, fucking looking too deep into this, you're overthinking it. Just think of it like this. Just simplify it. And we keep repeating things over it. But it's true that sometimes the most difficult problems have the most simplest solutions. And we could, again, surrounding yourself with the right people. And goes back to what Chris said about the safety guy, bouncing ideas off each other, and what would you do? Does this work? And have a look at this for me. And that's exactly what you can do for businesses. You can go in and say that they could ring you up and say, we've got a problem with, I'd call it over here, the shit. When you get, Chris will know, somebody will text you in the morning, Monday morning or whatever day it is, and go, can't come and I ain't got the shit. You know full well they ain't got the shit.
Yeah.
They don't want to come into work. Now, that could be that if you're noticing a culture growing in your company, that people are down with production, they're not as energetic in work, they're ringing up with the shit, and this keeps going on and repeating, and you can't seem to find out the problem. That's where you can step in and say, I think it could be X, Y, and Z with the staff that are working for you. Let's work on this, and let's get that solution out there, and get a better work environment for the people that you work for, that work for you. And that's what it's all about, and that's how you can benefit businesses in so many different ways.
See, Lindsay's tried to get her message out, and I said, just go and see some of these companies and offer to do, because Lindsay put a survey together, you know, Like anything, you need to know that there's a problem first. Okay.
Yeah.
So Lindsay did this survey and she said, why don't I just at least put this survey, you can send it out to 50 people in the field across any of your job sites, get it back, we'll put a report together for you and at least see if there's a problem. Well, hang on. People don't want to know that they've got a problem.
Yeah.
That's
kind of what I was getting at earlier.
Biggest hurdles to overcome is like, I know you don't want to hear it, but there's a problem. There's an epidemic in the industry across the globe. Like it's in the UK, it's in Australia, it's in the US. Whether we like it or we don't like it, there's a problem there. But if that was we're leaking money out of the business, they would have experts flown in from everywhere, from all over the world, in private jets to work out where this leaking money's going. But just to try and work out if you've actually got a problem, no, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good. That will change, but it's persistence and consistency that will change that for sure.
It is.
Do you guys ever watch Gold Rush? You know, the mining gold mining.
I know the one, but no,
I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah.
So what you've just said there is just reminded me of something, Chris. So Parker, one of the main mine bosses in it, he wanted to up his production because he thought his staff weren't being productive enough. He flew a woman in from somewhere in the lower states to come up to Alaska to watch how they all work for, I don't know how long it was. It was a good 6 weeks. She was in it for a good 6 weeks of episodes, so it was probably a long time. God knows how much she would have paid her to do that. And this is just an example. Companies are prepared to do things like that to up productivity in a physical way. He's obviously mining. He needs to get his staff to be more productive and things like that. It's exactly the same with what you do, Lindsay. You can come in and do that on a personal level with the staff, rather than just looking at the machines that they're operating or the equipment that they're operating, things like that. And like you bang on, Chris was saying that they're willing to spend money on things like that, but they're not willing to spend money on the staff that operate those bits of equipment.
But by spending that money on the people, they will get more of a return on investment than just managing the people and how you do your jobs. At the end of it, you're going to make more money, you're going to get a better reputation, and people are going to want to come and work for you. I don't know the downsides, but they're all the upsides. I've never seen downsides to helping people become more efficient at what it is that they're doing and building a strong workplace culture. I've never seen downsides to it. I've only ever seen upsides to it. It's all I've ever seen.
Yep. It just takes that one person within the the right person within inside the organization to understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're hard to find, but I'm sure they're there.
They're there and they're watching. They're always watching. You know what I mean? Lindsay's seen it. Oh, this person followed me for a year and they just reached out about something, you know?
Yeah.
There was people in Australia that reached out and then Lindsay got back to them, gave them some information and then never heard from them again. Like this elusive butterfly that just came in and flew out. I know that person is still watching. I know that person will probably listen to this video and it's just that right timing. Listening to this at the right time when something went wrong. Fuck, that's what I need. You know, like that's how that stuff works. You know, it's just, and that's why consistency is so important, to get that message out all the time, the same message. It's not changing. You know, when in business, you know, like trying to find work, you'll go to the same company 8 times before they'll say, yeah, okay, you can send us a quote. You can do us a quote. You know, like they're never going to say, oh, thank God you're here. You really, let's get this on. Where have you been my whole life? You know, but it just takes that special kind of person to build that, because what you guys are trying to do is change the industry. You're trying to change culture. You're trying to change the outcome. That is never going to be easy to do. It's never going to be easy to do.
No.
Even when it's for the best, even when all of it is upsides and
well,
no
people are
downsides.
creatures of habit. I think that's a lot of the
Yep.
problem. People are just creatures of habit. Well, we've always done it this way and it's fine.
Mhm.
So,
And people want to sit inside the comfort zone all the time because it's easy to sit and plod along at life, like you're talking about the Indian guy before that. Oh no, I don't want to change it because it's easy. He knows the numbers work.
See,
the numbers work for him.
a lot of it over here is corruption. It's pure corruption because his uncle is the owner of the recruitment agency, and well, your job needs 20 people, my job needs 50 people. So you know, my uncle gives me a bit of a payback for if I get 50 people, and then you literally, it's like trying to argue with a teenager, literally saying, yeah, but you're paying more to get more money to give to him so he can give you more money back. If you listen to me, I'm just going to give you cold hard profit in your back pocket without all the headache of people.
Yeah.
There's that element.
Maybe you should say, look, if you go with us, I'll give you a brown envelope with this in it, and see what he says.
There's one thing that there's a really good thing that the guy who trained me, and he said, you know, Chris, I've never been to the cricket, I've never been to a football game, I've never accepted anything from anyone, and he said, I will die knowing that that's right. And there's been, like, being an equipment manager, it's pretty easy to accept some certain things and do things and all that, for sure, absolutely. But I learned from him, you know, because he said at some point in time that person will want something from you, and they're right. They're right.
Yeah.
I will
never be in anybody's back pocket.
No, exactly right. And it just comes down to ethics and things like that, you know. Unfortunately, this region does not have a lot of ethics. I don't think there's one guy that we deal with over here, and he is the only guy that we know that has real business ethics. You know, he's the real deal, and that's why we work so closely with him. And I could be in the US and he could say that he's in trouble, and I jump on the first available flight to come and help him. That's the kind of guy that he is, you know. And he would do the same for us. I had some trouble with a police over here once through a road rage incident. The second that I told him,
I was on the phone with him when this happened, and I'm just like, I have no idea what to do. And the first thing I thought, it was like, I'm gonna have to call an ass and tell him what's happened.
But he was the second that I told an ass, he was like, any problems, just call me. Whatever you need, mate. Whatever you need.
Call me, I'll handle it.
Yeah.
He didn't even. He
didn't want to know what I did.
Basically,
was it my
Chris,
fault? Nothing.
Yeah, Chris, don't talk to the cops, please.
Do not talk to the locals. I know what you're like, and I know your anger. But it all got sorted, which was pretty good. But they're the kinds of friends that are very hard to come across. Very hard to come across. And when you come across them, like, I would never do anything to put him in jeopardy, and he would never do anything to put me in jeopardy as well, you know. And I can't say that for many other people, you know. I thought that there was a lot of other people that were the same, but time's always flushes them out over the course of stuff.
Well, that's how I feel about Rob with all this stuff. He's been like, he's probably maybe one of maybe two people along like this process for me that's been genuine, that's been a real connection, a real help to what I do. Like, and I've been doing this for, I don't know, over a year now. I think I started, I want to say it was during COVID, the initial part of COVID. So early 2020, I started kind of dipping my toes in it. So
you were researching a long time before that.
Even prior to that, but early 2020 was when I started putting information out just on like the Oryx consulting page. And then I think it was like June or something of last year, I switched it over to its own thing. But even prior to that, it's probably been like 3 years or so that I started research. But Rob's been really the only. I have one other person I talk to about stuff, but Rob's been the only, the only one that's come to be like an actual good.
But there's like, just on that though, Lou, you're exactly right, because there's so much bad information out there, like terrible information. Like, this is
when I came across Rob and I was like looking through his stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually good information. So I made sure to connect with him right away. Yeah. So yeah, it's been a weird process.
That's good to know that I am actually putting the right stuff out there, but I try and do it in the language.
You're genuine.
The genuine.
Yeah.
There's not anything for me to personally or financially gain out of it. All I'll gain out of it is helping other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is if that's what your goal is, that's the right goal to have in that space.
Yeah. Now, if you can make money out of it, that's great, because that just means you get to dedicate more time to it.
But you always will.
You know,
if your intentions are pure, it always will generate it's a risk reward. You know, the more that you put in with pure intentions, the more that your reward will be. It just is, you know, but it's a slow build and it's a slow grind. And even to get to where you are, Rob, you had to be 20 years in the field to get to this point, to understand what the problems are to get there. It's
and
like
have
Lindsay,
the struggles yourself, you know, go through the mental health stuff yourself.
Lindsay had to have that big education, you know, because you will only be able to take it so far. Same as myself will only be able to take it so far. Then you need someone like Lindsay to take over. And then okay, now I need to help that person.
But you can't have one without the other, because if there's no Rob, there's nobody listening.
Correct.
You know, there's nobody nobody on their level that understands them, or that breaks down those, like the work he does is just as important, because I couldn't do what I do.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. Like,
it's
like me. I can't have the knowledge that I've got now if I didn't go through the pain and the struggles that I've had getting to this point. I know, Lindsay, you say quite often, damn, why did I do all of that college and all of that debt? You can't see it now, but I can see it. I can see where it's going to be unbelievably, like, no one else will have that knowledge that you have, especially now that you're putting the groundwork into talking people in the field and understanding, you know, like, you'll always ask me, this is what I want to talk about. What's your input from a remote construction perspective?
Yeah.
You know, like, because you want to understand,
I talk to as many people as I can, you too. And then, you know, every time I'm with my dad is just a whole different experience, you know, like, he is just stressed to the max all the time. So I get that, you know, every time I'm with him, especially like the last 6 months or so, it's just been like, he's on the verge of a nervous breakdown like every other time I see him. So like, it's not funny, but I'm just like, yeah, this obviously is a problem. Like, it just it reaffirms every time. And of course I try to like help him through that stuff, like, Dad, just
but your dad, we know coming up to winter, all of a sudden, early next year, your dad is going to preach the same thing that he's done for 30 years. Oh, could be out of work with winter, you know, like, and he's never been out of work any winter.
Never,
he's going to say the same thing. I think
I say the same things. I say exactly the same things, that I need to get this done, I need to get that done, and I need to get it because the bad weather's coming, so I'm not going to be able to work. But there's never, in 20 years, there's never ever been a Monday where I couldn't go to work. I might have earned a little bit less money, but I've always had work to go to, no matter what. I've always had something.
Yep.
Yeah,
but then
that's my dad.
He will go to work in that frozen tundra, and then he'll be bitching about how hard the ground is, and oh my god, and then all the snow, and it's just the same revolver. But that's his process. That is his process.
Yeah, that's just his
to do that, you know.
And then in the summertime, I'm so busy, I haven't got to do anything this summer, and it's this whole thing.
That's because you're working all the time, Dad.
Yeah, take a day off, dude. It's different when it's family, of course, like, you just, because you're not like, I'm not as, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I'm almost not as compassionate with my family, because I am, but like, I'm just like, Dad, we do this all the time, like, take a Saturday off.
Yeah, you know the language, you know how to talk to him, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, like, take a Saturday off and let's go over to the island, or let's go golfing, or let's go do something, like, take a day off work. But
but
he hasn't taken a day off work.
You know that you could go out fishing on the lake with your dad in summer, and he'd be like, is this it? What else do we do?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
they're not even biting. They're not biting. Why'd we come out here?
Your dad sounds like I used to be a few years ago. We're probably cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
The everything you're saying is, yeah, I'll tick that box, I'll tick that box, I'll tick that box, because that's what I used to be like. I used to go away on holiday, and 2 days or a day into it, I'll be itching, thinking I need to get back, because you've this ridiculous pressure that you put on yourself, like you need to go and do work and be seen to be doing work. And I think now doing the work that I do now, or the mental health stuff that I've done, and the training and all that sort of, I can look back at it and think that maybe for me it stems from when I was in school. I used to get called really lazy because school didn't work for me, and education needs to change over here and things like that. But so I always, through my working life, used to think that I don't want anybody thinking I'm lazy. I don't want them to think I can't do my job. I don't want them to think I was too busy wrapped up and worried about what everybody else is thinking, instead of thinking about myself and the important things in my life, and my family and everything like that. And yes, there is the pressure that you have on yourself. Like, you do need to try and get the jobs in to do, because winter's coming and everything like that, and the bad weather's coming. But I used to say to myself, more I do today, less I have to do tomorrow. And I used to think that was a motivational thing for myself, but all I was doing was just trying to rob time that I didn't need to steal. I was putting pressure on myself unnecessarily. I didn't need to put that much pressure on myself. And I think your dad, he's probably, whether he'd ever admit it, probably not, I don't know. But that's exactly how I used to think and how I used to feel. And now, like I said earlier on in the conversation, that I'm more productive in work because I've set boundaries for myself. And I know that these are the times that I work to, and sometimes they waver. Sometimes I might work 7 days, but then the week after I'll take a couple of days off in the week rather than at the weekend, traditional weekend or whatever. It's finding what works for you and the people around you, and allowing you to live in the present. Because when I almost lost everything with Louise and everybody going, that was the shake up and wake up for me to say that, fuck, I need to live in the present and not worry about future Rob, because future Rob can worry about future Rob.
Yeah,
I need to worry about present Rob, and live in the moment what I'm doing, because before you know it, my kids will have grown up. Seb, Ben and Sam will be 30 years old with their own kids, and life's very tough and very difficult and full on for me at the minute. But I do lose my shit with them sometimes. This morning, like, I put an LED lights up for them in the bedroom. They're on the floor in the bedroom this morning. They've ripped them off, and I wanted to punch their head in. But it's I can laugh about it now, whereas that would have destroyed my day. That would totally destroyed my day. That I would have come down, seen that, and then everything else would have been a problem. Whereas now I ranted at him and said, "Why have you done that?" And Ben, the middle one, I don't know where he gets it from. He's the biggest charmer in the world. He just went, "It's all right, Dad." And it made me laugh. It made me laugh, and that just lightened the mood. And we had a laugh about it. I told him I was angry with him, and I said they're going in the bin, and then they started crying. But anyway, I digress. But it's important. What I'm trying to get is that it's important to live in the moment and live in the present and appreciate everything that's going on around you, because it'll soon be gone.
That's reminding me, my dad's like that with my little brother's 16, and it's just them two. They live alone. Austin called me one day and he goes, "Dad's really mad." I said, "What'd you do?" He's like, "We were putting up a light in my room, and I was standing on my bed holding it for him." It's like this old. My dad's house is really old. Well, anyway, my dad's doing something, and Austin falls off the bed and rips the light fixture down with it. And I guess my dad yells like, "Son, can we do anything without you fucking things up?"
Yes, that's what I say to my phone. Like we've got
Sorry, go ahead.
Go, sorry.
Austin just goes, "He must have had a bad day or something. I don't know."
That's exactly what I said to the boys this morning. I said, "Why do I work so hard to buy these nice things and then you destroy it?" I said, "I'm going to sell the car outside because I've worked really hard to get that, and used to just put muddy footprints all over it on the roof of the car and everything. And they just looked at me and they're like, they didn't care. I'm like, you don't even care what I'm saying to you, do you? And they went, "Can I have peanut butter on toast this morning for my breakfast?" All right.
Boys, that was Austin. Oh, he must have just had a bad day. It wasn't like, and Austin said it wasn't that he ripped the light fixture out of the ceiling that my dad now has to fix.
That he actually lost concentration on, which he shouldn't have lost concentration.
He just had to stand on a bed and hold it. My dad was doing the rest of the work. But it's constant.
How many people does it take to put a light bulb on?
Yeah. And you have it times 3, so.
Oh God, yeah. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not change it for the world. It's hard and it's difficult, and so we've got a long road ahead of us. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure my dad would say the same. My dad was. I called him a few hours later and asked him about it. I said, "You know what that little shit said?" He said, "You were probably just having a bad day." He's like, "That little." It was hilarious.
Your dad wouldn't have it any other way. You know that.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't. He was the same way with my big brother. Like, just they butted heads all the time. And my big brother was Austin gets a little bit more emotional about things. My big brother, he couldn't care. He couldn't care less. Like, he just was like, "Oh, I made Dad mad again." But yeah, I'm sure my dad wouldn't trade it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot of ground.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
enjoyed it. I've been wanting to do this for a while. We'll have to do another one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of good information there, Lou, for everything that I know what you've got coming up, and especially for workplace culture.
Yeah.
And also the at least the difference of what's happening. I know that's one of your big focuses has been like what's happening in the UK, what's happening in the US, what's happening, here is one place in the Gulf region, but also what's happening in Australia and places like that. It's great to get different perspective, especially for the viewers. Like that's what it's all about, is to at least spread some information about people in the US. They now know what's happening in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
How serious they're taking it over there. It's a real thing. It's the numbers are still exploding, so it's going to be interesting to follow along and see what they do to try and change that, and see who steps up to the plate, Rob, like who actually comes to the party with all those kinds of things and some of the things that are happening. So I think it's really important to, me, Lou, I love traveling the world. That's what my life has been for everything that I've done. Understanding different cultures is one thing, but understanding people in your industry in different regions of the world just sheds so much light onto a common problem of mental health, and suicide being the ultimate end negativity out of that. But I think
it shows you how complex it is, that it like few things touch every culture.
Absolutely.
But mental health does. So it's really interesting. That's why I really wanted to do this with the both of you together. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I certainly enjoyed recording it. I'm really hoping that Rob, Chris, and I can get together again and more often, because I think that these chats have so much to offer the people in the industry, and just kind of breaking down those walls and getting people talking. So if you enjoyed the video, please like the video and subscribe to our channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future chats.